There was a video posted by Dick Morris, who used to be a political advisor to President Bill Clinton, and he's written many books. He's been on the stage for a while, speaking very wisely about certain topics that he has quote-unquote insider information about. And he posted this video on his YouTube channel that has since been pulled. I could not find a copy of it, so I'm going to read this transcript that luckily James Bailey had copied on his website, Z3 News. And it's about what is going on right now. It is unprecedented concerning President Trump's administration and the shadow government that is trying to destroy it. There is indication that Obama has set up a secret operation in a war room just about 2 miles from the White House, where Michelle has her offices, and so do many of the former aides to Obama. They meet there and they have a twice daily conference call at 8:30 a.m. and 9:45 a.m. every morning. They develop talking points for the media for the day to sabotage and undermine President Trump. It's a war room. It's just like in the middle of a campaign. The campaign never stopped. All of the key players are on that conference call.
Keeping these poor refugees out of our country and sending back people with lawful visas. I just can't even imagine this happening in our country.
Who have made the difference. They've marched, they've bled. Yes, some of them have died. This is hard. Every good thing is. We have done this before, we can do this again.
Many Californians, Don, that did not vote for Donald Trump sort of feel that this was not their choice and now they're stuck with it.
Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. If we don't fight, who's going to fight for us? People had to die for the freedom where we're at today. We can't just do rallies. We have to fight back. There will be casualties on both sides. There will be, because people have to die to make a change in this world. But Trump, enough with your racism. Stop splitting families. Don't split my family.
Lately, it has been devoted and dedicated to trying to defeat Trump's healthcare reform of Obamacare. Their operation is just a few blocks from the Capitol, and it's in a war room run by Leslie Dash, one of Obama's top healthcare officials. She's coordinating a nationwide anti-repeal campaign by liberal think tanks, local resistance groups, sympathetic governors, Medicaid insurance lobbyists, Democratic activists, pollsters, and academics. It was conceived in the hours after Trump was elected, and the group is called, quote, Protect Our Care. It's the heart of their effort to oppose the repeal of Obamacare. That's the overt part of their resistance. The covert part of their resistance are these moles who are buried in the Trump administration who are leaking to sabotage Trump. That has always gone on, but these leaks are different. These are leaks by government officials, often of national security data designed to destroy the president. The reason they can do that, the reason they can get away with it, is because Trump really does not have his people in the government yet. That's because Congress, the Senate, they have slow-walked the approval of any of his appointments. After 6 months of the Obama presidency, he had 206 people confirmed. Trump at this point has 55 in that 6-month period. Trump had the overwhelming majority of his appointments required to go through a roll call, which meant a vote on closing debate, which requires 60 votes to do that, and then 50 votes to confirm the nominee. There are now 1,242 positions still vacant in the Trump administration awaiting confirmation. Some are awaiting appointment. He has not yet appointed them all, but he has appointed a whole lot more than they have confirmed. What Obama did was he embedded his employees deep within the bowels of these agencies by moving them into civil service positions and away from appointed jobs. He would go to people in appointed positions and reclassify the position as civil service. These people cannot be moved out of their positions until their immediate superiors are appointed to their positions. At this pace, that won't happen until more than a year into the Trump presidency. So a big part of this conspiracy by the Democrats is to slow walk and place obstacles in the way of the confirmation of the Trump appointees by demanding roll call votes, by demanding hearings, by placing all sorts of procedural obstacles there to slow walk these confirmations. So that means they won't be able to get on the job and get rid of the leakers that are embedded in the administration. In the meantime, the sycophantic media picks up on the leaks and gives them incredible coverage, often blowing them out of proportion, and refuses to name who the leakers are. That conspiracy, directed by this operations room that I was talking about, this war room, is how they are trying to topple Donald Trump. The day after this video is posted, Mr. Morris appeared on New York AM 970's The Cats Roundtable, and he went on to say, quote, "The main thing that is going on, though, in politics is really an attempt at a coup d'etat, which is essentially what this whole Russian stuff is. In fact, I call it the illusion of collusion. The whole Democratic Party is so taken up with the idea that Hillary Clinton lost the election because of collusion between Trump and Vladimir Putin. I think the whole thing has been cooked up in an effort to topple Trump from power. It amounts really to a coup d'etat between the intelligence community on the one hand and the media on the other."
This is an effort to subvert the administration of President Donald Trump. It is nothing less. It is an effort by the deep state to roll over a duly elected president and a legitimate government and to break the will of the American people. This is no longer about Republicans and Democrats, conservatives and liberals. This is about a full-on assault by the left, the Democratic Party, to absolutely carry out a coup d'etat against President Trump, aided by the left-wing media. The suggestion there's collusion between Trump and the Russians, when we have absolute evidence of collusion between the Clinton Foundation, Secretary of State Clinton, and the Russians. I mean, this,
with
my
real
God,
money.
What does it take?
I don't know what it takes, but we've had 125 deep state leaks in 126
Right.
days. Every one of them, I would say, needs to be investigated for being a felony.
This is unprecedented in American history. We've never seen a former president lead an outright, upfront resistance coup against the newly sworn-in president. This is treasonous. It's immoral, unethical, lawless. This is the spirit of Antichrist that thinks that he's still in charge. And in fact, he still is. He still has all these moles. He has all these leakers. He has all these secret, covert people in key places. It's like trying to pull out weeds. You pull up one and you figure out there's a whole network underneath the dirt that you didn't know was there. And the sick thing about this network underneath is that we know how evil and corrupt they really are. We know that the Pizzagate thing is not some false narrative. It's true. They ritualistically torture and rape and then consume innocent little babies and toddlers. And it's really dark and gruesome. And in fact, it's inhuman. It's so evil that the human mind can't fathom and contemplate it for too long because you start to lose it. It's so gross and so satanic. And if anyone can come across this information and not understand how evil they are and think that this is going to go away, just do the math. If they're evil enough to torture, rape, and eat innocent children and get away with it for decades, for hundreds of years, if they're that evil and to cover it up, then you have to assume that the worst is possible. That they would pull off a false flag to cover up further this disgusting and disturbing truth. They're not going to let this come out. They'll be hung in the streets. There would be a massive uprising where these individuals would be dragged out of their homes and stoned to death if this truth came to light. So you better believe they're going to try to cover it up. So you need to get ready, because they're going to cover it up with nuclear bombs and World War III and famine and pestilence, viruses, class warfare, race warfare. Anything and everything that you can think of that's evil, they're going to pull it off because they thought of it first. And they will not hesitate to carry it out.
It seems to me the key here that I noticed was the organ transplant. An organ transplant. And that just makes me scratch my head. Why would there be a tie into an organ transplant? And is this stuff that goes on at the Mayo clinics down there?
They have an organ transplant department at Mayo Clinic, Jacksonville. Yes.
I mean, you can imagine where my mind goes. You start talking about organ plants, organ donation, organ transplants, black market even perhaps. Maybe there was something there. That's, again, my speculation as to why somebody might be trying to cover something up here. That's just my speculation. But you've laid out all of the amazing connections, and then you started laying out Bush connections. You started laying out other connections down there in Florida that I didn't even think about until today. When you started doing this research and turning up this dirt, were you as shocked as I am right now?
Yes.
So what do you think the deal is? Where do you think the connection here lies? Or do you think that this is just a coincidence that now not only Barrington Wisenhunt is no longer with us, but now also Peter Smith and Klaus Eberwein, who happen to be in the States?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
You're very emotional right now. I can honestly understand that. You know, the other day.
I'm just a lawyer here. I'm just a lawyer here. I don't know what's going on.
The joke is on them, though, because at the very end, Jesus wins. He lets Satan pull out all his punches and try all of his mechanisms of evil to control the entire world. And he'll have his little rule, his little temporary rule, where he gets to set up the mark of the beast and have his massive military police state. But it's going to be short-lived. Jesus will win in the end. You need to put your faith in that king when he returns, because he's the King of Kings. He's really in charge of all of this. This is just Satan kicking and murdering as many as he can on his way out, because he is on the way out.